You've probably seen those charts that compare the average worker's lifetime earnings to a CEO's net worth. You know, the ones I would say would take you a few millennia of grinding just to afford Jeff Bezos' yacht fuel? I've always found this fascinating. They make you wonder things like, how much value does an average person actually create versus their CEO counterpart? And why does CEO's net worth look like it's been calculated in a different universe entirely? In order to be able to tax and eat the rich, let's figure out how they got that way, if we could or should even follow them. Take the Forbes rich list. The 10th richest person sits on roughly 150 billion, while the top spot hovers around 450 billion. Compared to the average person's net worth, that's not just a few X's zeros, you need to reincarnate a few hundred times and never pay rent amount of money. But these billionaires don't get a monthly paycheck like you or I, not a substantial one for this analysis. The sharply dressed Tim Cook's paycheck was only about $3 million. Compare that to his $2.5 billion net worth, and we see that there's something missing. At that rate, he'd have to work 833 years to amass his current net worth. The key to unlocking this GIMP suit is the world's richest get paid in stocks. But since single stocks are highly volatile, doesn't it make them not business leaders, but the world's most high-stake gamblers? Let's see how the world's richest person, the infamous funny dancer Elon Musk, got to the top spot. Let's piece together the events that led to $500 billion being controlled by the Musk. First, he sold a company for about 22 million cash. While a great start, it's only about 0.005% of his current net worth. That's like if you had a net worth about 10K and you found 48 cents scattered on the floor. 3 years later, PayPal bought one of his companies and received about 180 million. Again, a drop in the bucket. All right, so we're about 1/100% of his current net worth. Tesla IPOs and Musk's roughly 30% stake in Tesla is now worth around 300 to 600 million. We are somehow 1,000th of the way to his net worth. Let's take a quick detour to today's sponsor, the like button. Obviously don't have a sponsor who sponsors degeneracy. Let me quickly explain what a good financial advisor would tell us to do with our newfound 450 million. 1. Don't keep it in cash at the bank. Inflation eats it up like Pac-Man. 2. Invest in a diversified portfolio. 3. The easiest one, just sit on your ass. Wait. When the pot is big enough, number 4, you'll be able to take out under 4% and use that money for baby oil or 3D printed guns or whatever your heart desires. Using how much he sold Tesla for, how many businesses does someone have to make, grow, and sell to get his 450 billion net worth? He made around 450 million in 6 years. That's about 75 million a year. It would take you 6,000 years to get 450 billion. I'm not good at math, but it seems more like a few lifetimes. Though let's say we took that 10K we said you have. Don't worry, I'm also broke. So we take that 10K and put it in a boring world index, basically a safe stock we can buy. Let's pretend that makes 10% return a year. How many millennia do you think it would take for us to reach 450 billion from our initial 10,000 with no money added? If it takes 6,000 years making 75 million, how many more times harder would it be? The first year, you'd only make 1K, and a decade later, you'd only be at 25K. So it's actually much quicker than selling companies. It would only take you 185 years. Compared to the little to no work you have to do to get there, that's pretty insane. What's even crazier is that Musk did this much quicker. If he would have done the safe thing and diversified that 450 million and gotten the same 10% return, it would have taken him less than 73 years. Amazing, but with him selling some stocks and other shenanigans, it took him less than 15. That is insane risk to take. He put all of it on a single company. So let's say some of my numbers are wrong. They're a few percent off. I'm not an order of magnitude wrong. Please let me know in the comments where I was wrong and how I can make 10K so I can get my health back to normal. The key takeaway from this is, if you heavily invest in a single company, doesn't that mean that you think that company will outperform and have better luck than the entire US economy? That you think this one particular company is better than anything the world could do in the next decade or few decades? That's some degen shit right there.